Okay, dear students, let's start discussion on pre-scene mock September 2025 attempt papers PM. I'm myself Abil Ahmed, CEO and Principal of Abil School of Accountancy. So let's start from question number 1. Tire company is planning to launch a new product, product Q. Given the importance of ensuring the viability of the new product in a highly competitive market, it is planned to apply target costing at the design stage of this product. Okay, so we have got token steps. So let's see. Target costing, number 1 is we need target price. So step 1. Is a target price. Then I'll go for the target profit. Target profit. So this is going to be 1. Target profit is going to be 2. Logically, from target price, we will deduct target cost or target profit to get the target cost. So third one is target cost. Then we estimate the cost, drive the forecast cost, then estimate cost. Estimated cost, and finally we'll have the cost gap. So simply these are the steps for target costing. Price first, then profit, then we simply deduct profit from the price, we get target cost, then we estimate the cost, and then difference. Obviously your estimated cost will be higher than target cost, so the difference is cost gap. Okay. Which of the following statement about best describe the optimum course of action, product Q, and why? The following are sales and cost information of 2 types of finished goods, product Q and product Y, that are to be manufactured through a joint process. In a big company, both products Q and Y can be sold before or after a special handling process. Simply it's a further processing decision. In case of further processing, if we are having a benefit, so obviously then I'll be thinking for the further processing, otherwise I will not go for the further processing. Let's see. Joint cost apportion. Cost to be incurred during the special handling process. We have got variable cost, fixed cost, selling price, before a special handling process cost, after a special handling. So I have to work on incremental cost and incremental revenue. Simply before the further processing, we can sell the product for 20, but after further processing, after special handling processes, we can sell it for 41. So it means I can sell it after special handling for 41, before that 20. So incremental price per kg is 21. Incremental price per kg is 21, but we have to bear the variable cost per kg 8.5. You can say that additional contribution. 21 minus 8.5 gives us 12.5 as contribution per kg. So how many kgs we will be producing and selling? 5,000. So multiply by 5,000, that will give us the additional contribution. I'm getting 62,500, which is my additional contribution. We have to bear the additional fixed cost, which is 15,000. Additional fixed cost is 15. So here comes your additional profit. 62,500 minus 15. I'm getting 47,500, which means that if we further process product Q, so we'll be having additional profit 47,500. So definitely we are going to further process product Q. Now let's apply on Y. Before special handling, the selling price is 37. Simply before further processing, selling price is 37. After further processing, the selling price is 52. So 52 minus 37, that will give us the incremental selling price, additional selling price, which is 15. Interestingly, the variable cost is also 15, which means contribution will be 0. From further processing, we will not be generating any contribution, which means contribution from further processing, your contribution, additional contribution will be 0, but you have to bear the fixed cost, which is 18,000. Which means that if we go towards spatial handling process in case of product Y, so we have to bear a loss of 18,000. So logically, product Y should not be further processed, but product Q should be further processed. Which of the following statement best describes the optimum course of action for product Q and Y? Both products Q and Y should be sold after. That's false. Because in case of product Y, we have seen that further processing means you will be having, then you have to bear a loss of 18,000. So why would I go for further processing in case of Y? Both products Q and Y should sold before the spatial handling falls. If I go for further processing in case of product Q, I can generate additional profit of 47,500. So why would I sell this product at before further processing? I'll sell at least product Q after further processing. Only product Q should be sold after spatial handling process. That's true. Only product Y should be so. No, it's false. Actually, Y should not be further processed at all, because further processing means you will have to face loss in product Y. Which level of standard is most likely represented by the suggested standard machine hours per unit? During the standard setting process, the production manager of RZ suggested the standard machine hours required in making 1 unit of finished product is to set at 0.5 hours. This suggestion is justified based on maximum performance condition of the machine as claim. Student, maximum performance condition means if you keep the standard according to the maximum performance condition, you are thinking for ideal standards. And ideal standard, they are going to demotivate your staff. In the product catalog and promoted by the sales personnel of the machine. So which level of standard is ideal? TB company has used time series analysis to drive seasonal adjusted forecast for the market size of product offered by them and their competitor for the third quarter X6 estimated at 2.55 million. The seasonal variation based on multiplicative model. So they have given us the seasonal variation also based on the multiplicative model. What is the coefficient of trend? Third quarter. So market size they've given us, basically market size. Y is equal to trend into seasonal variation. Market size Y they have given us 2.55 million. We need to find out trend. For quarter 3, it is 0.04. It means simply from 1, if I deduct 0.04, I'll get 0.96 seasonal variation. So simply here comes the trend. $2.55 million divided by 0.96. I'm getting students 2656250. Simply one. Look at this in quarter 3. We are having minus 0.04. So your seasonal variation becomes 0.96. Is that clear now? And they have not given us any choices. It means you have to just write the answer. Okay. Which two of the following are least likely to represent the benefits of applying big data analytics, such as predictive analytics, tax analytics, statistical analysis, voice analytics, and data mining? Which two of the following least likely? Let's see. Discover sensitive consumer information such as personal income, residential address, and others. No, sir, this is not possible. Nobody is going to give you. Which two of the least likely to represent? So this one. You won't be able to, even out you analyze each and everything, still you will not be getting the information of this personal income and things like that. Identify a pattern of the demand promotion and for a promotion product in a department store. Yes, that is possible. We are required to find out which two of the following are least likely to represent the benefit. The second one is the benefit. First one is not the benefit. This is the benefit. Detect correlation between number of outpatient and number of newcomer. Not benefit. Basically, all these studies, big data, they cannot tell you this information. Detect correlation between number of outpatients in a hospital and number heat warning days. That is a benefit. So basically, A and C, they are not the benefits. Which of the following is least likely to be used as non-financial performance indicator for measuring the efficiency of a public hospital that is under the management of a health ministry in Giland? Which of the following is least? Actually, if you people just recall, if there's a heat wave, what is the intensity of heat wave and how many patients they are coming to the hospital? It does have a correlation in between that. Yes or no? There is a correlation. That is why in number of countries, government also announces the warning that during these XYZ extreme temperature, do not come out from your houses unless it is very urgent. Which of the following is least likely to be used as a non-financial performance indicator for measuring the efficiency of a public hospital? Percentage of operating theater utility. So this is the non-performance financial indicator. We need to find out least likely to be used as a non-financial performance indicator. This is your non-financial performance indicator. Percentage operating theater that is equipped. Percentage of operating theater that is equipped with an advanced screening device. This is not a non-financial performance indicator. Try to understand what is written. Percentage of operating theater that is equipped with advanced screening device. Let's say there are 100 operation theaters. Let's say there are 50 operation theaters, assuming. Out of 50, 30 are having advanced screening advice. Then so what? Whatever this non-financial performance indicator, this is just you are telling us that within that theater there is an advanced machine. So nothing is You are talking, what about the utilization of resources? It is not showing the utilization of resources. You are just telling us that within that theater there's an advanced machine. Then it is not a performance non-financial performance indicator. Percentage of admission that have waited longer than the national standard. This is non-financial performance indicator. Doctor-patient ratio is also non-financial performance indicator. Only the second one, B, is your answer because it is not. Other than B, everyone is representing the resource utilization. B is just representing that within the theater there's an advanced equipment. So that's it. So B is not a non-financial performance indicator. Indicate by clicking on the relevant boxes in the table below whether each of the following statement regarding the above findings is correct or incorrect. The management accountant of JC company has performed two sets of studies pertaining to correlation between two sets of variables that aid with forecasting the demand of its product model J1. Study 1, study 2, X variable, consumer price index, here percentage of import tariffs. Y variable, demand for J1, demand for J1. Coefficient of correlation, R square, coefficient of correlation, 56%. So basically, according to your study 1, the relationship which is explainable according to the consumer price index is 56%. Is the relationship explainable? If I go for study 2, on the basis of percentage of import tariff, now look at this, coefficient of determination is 74%. So on the basis of percentage of import tariff, the relationship which is explainable is 74%. But let's see what they are actually asking. The predictability of demand of J1. So basically the relationship with the demand is 56%. Relationship of a demand is 56% explainable in according to study 1 by using consumer price index. In study 2, percentage of import tariff, it is 74% explainable. So relationship of demand is more explainable according to study 2. Let's see what they're saying. The predictability of demand for J1 based on consumer price index is higher than the import tariff. Can I say incorrect? Predictability of demand, where the relationship is more explainable, that is on the basis of import tariff. It is not on the basis of consumer price index. Here the relationship of demand is 74% explainable, here 56. So you are saying something incorrect, because what examiner is saying, the predictability of demand for J1 based on consumer price index is higher than what? Import tariff. Actually in import tariff it is higher, consumer price index it is less. Both sets of studies reveal that both consumer price index and percentage of import tariff are showing a positive correlation for demand J1. I'm saying again incorrect. The question is why incorrect? Actually, you are discussing on the basis of coefficient of correlation, which is actually the R square. Only the R could be negative also. Only the R could be negative also. Right now, the coefficient of determination, which is R square. So if you are saying the relationship is positive, not necessary at all, not necessary. It could be, but not necessary, because the basis which we are using, that is coefficient of determination, which is R square, and R square is obviously it is positive. Even R is negative. When I'm going to calculate the square of that R, it will be positive. So that is why the second one is incorrect. They are saying both sets of studies reveal that consumer price index and percentage of import tariff are showing a positive correlation, not necessary. because we're not deciding on the basis of correlation. The information which is in front of us is that is coefficient of correlation, which is r square, and r square is always positive. Which of the following wireless technology is most appropriate to be used for tracking purposes? FX company is a multinational electronic commerce, e-commerce company that offers a range of products to consumer all over the world via the internet. The BOD is considering investing in wireless technology that can be used for real-time tracking of goods that arrive in depot from suppliers and are dispatched out to customer from depot. Which of the following wireless technology? Mobile phone network, false. Bluetooth. It is actually radio frequency identification. What are the estimated contingent cost to be incurred for operating of the new plant? What are the estimated contingent cost? Let's see. The accountant of UN, a large rare soil refinery, has provided the following list of estimated total costs for one of its new plant, which will be operational in the near future. Hardware, software implementing environment, so that relates to environment. It's not contingent. Your material and labor costs, you can say these are your conventional cost. Estimated cost of cleaning and neutralizing the toxic waste before disposal. So actually it's a contingent cost. We don't know. When do we need cleaning and neutralizing what? Toxic waste. So first there has to be toxic waste, then we'll be spending money to neutralize that. So this is your contingent cost. Production overhead, that's your, you can say it's your potentially a hidden cost. It's not a contingent cost. Potential opportunity costs resulting from boycott by green activists against all environmental sensitive industry. Look at this potential opportunity cost resulting from boycott. So exactly, I don't know when there's going to be boycott and everything. Again, contingent cost. But what they are asking, what are the estimated contingent costs? So you have to add both of them. Can anyone tell us the total quickly? Let me use my calculator. Examiner, they have not given us the option over here. Two, 1, 4, 0 and 000. Okay. For which of the above finished goods would it be useful for management to measure the mix and yield variances related to material cost variances? Obviously, when your product needs more than one type of material, then I'll be thinking for the mix as well as yield variance, but physical mixing should be involved there. Let's see. The following type of finished products require more than one type of material in their production. One is outdoor shoes, another is carbonated drinks. Here, physically, we'll be mixing more than one material. Carbonated drinks. So laptop computers, we will not be physically doing any mixing, even though obviously when we are, let's say, manufacturing laptop, more than one material, of course, we are using, but that is in case of laptop, it's just an assembling. No physical mixing of the material is involved. But in cement, yes, it is involved. So logically, carbonated drinks and cement, they involve physical mixing. So do we have any option? Logically, it has to be 2 and 4. Which of the following division types is least likely to use sales variance when measuring the performance of its divisional manager? Which of the following division type is least likely to use sales variance when measuring the performance of its divisional manager? Revenue center will obviously use it. There's a possibility profit center could use, investment center. Can I say, but when it comes to cost center, will not be using sales variances. Which of the following division type is least likely to use sale? If I'm the head of a cost center, why would I use sales variance to measure the performance of its divisional manager? So cost center is not going to use sales variances to measure the performance of their divisional manager. What will be the effect on divisions else financial performance should it accept the proposed transfer price? Let's see. LX company has two divisions, L and X. The standard sales and cost information for only product currently manufactured by division L, model LA, will all labor fully utilize for its production are as follows. This is very important. With all labor fully utilized. Okay, don't forget this. If already in XYZ division, my labor is fully utilized, if I'm going to do any other contract, I have to stop the work, I have to bear the contribution loss, and logically that contribution loss becomes irrelevant. Selling price is 140. Direct material 40 per liter. In 1 unit, it takes 30. Variable overhead cost $30 per labor hour. So variable conversion cost, which has your labor plus variable overhead, is 75. Okay, it means that how much contribution we are generating right now? Oh no, something is wrong with the OneNote. 140 minus 30 minus 75, the amount of the contribution is 35. Division L receive a request from Division X to produce a supply of, oh no, why it is happening? No idea at all. 200 units. Division L receive a request from Division X to produce a supply of 200 units of a different version of product, model LB, at a total transfer price of 27. They are willing to pay you how much? If your division produces 200 units, you will be getting transfer price of 27,000. Each unit of model LB requires half material used for model LA. That's good. To produce model LA, can I say material cost will be 15 according to the requirement data. Each unit of model LB requires half of the material used for model LA. So in LA, we are using 30. So in LB, it will be 15. But requires 5 labor hours to produce. 5. Variable conversion cost is 30 per labor hour. Now listen, students. Variable conversion cost. If we go for model LB, we need 5 hours. 5 into 30 is 150. It becomes 165 if I'm not wrong. So to manufacture model LB, material for 1 unit is 15. Variable conversion cost for 1 unit is 150. It becomes 165, but the story does not end here. Already our workers, they are fully busy with model LA. Producing 200 units of model LB means we have to stop the work of our, we have to stop the existing work where we are generating a contribution of 35. And don't forget, the problem is with the labor hours. Now listen carefully. Right now, 75 divided by 30. In model LA, how many labor hours? Student, now listen carefully. In model LA, to manufacture, to get the contribution of 35, we utilize labor time 2.5 hours. Repeat. To generate the contribution of 35, we utilize labor time 2.5 hours. And the problem is with the labor because they are fully occupied already in model LA. So we have to stop the work of model LA to go towards model LB. So obviously contribution loss is relevant for us. Now, you can do this 35 divided by 2.5. This will give you the contribution loss per hour. When we will be manufacturing model LB, 1 unit of model LB needs 5 labor hours. It means contribution loss 35 divided by 2.5 will give me the contribution loss per hour. 1 unit of model LB needs 5 labor hours. So what will be the loss per unit? Can I say, student, logically per unit, the loss is 70. So it means per unit to manufacture model LB, the cost is going to be 165 plus 70. I'm getting 235. How many units we are required to manufacture? 200. So logically relevant cost to manufacture 200 units of model LB, the relevant manufacturing cost is 47,000 and they are just offering us 27. Transfer price offered is 27, which means that we have to actually bear the loss of 20,000. So it means division will have to bear the loss, or division L will have to bear the loss of 20,000 in order to manufacture 200 units of model LB. So division L will be worse off, yes. Obviously, you will have a loss of 20,000. All other options are, of course, not acceptable. A well-known smartphone manufacturer has recently adopted a rolling budget system as their planning process. Which of the following is most likely to be potential benefit resulting from adopting a rolling budget? Okay. The management will have to spend more time of the process budget preparing, which lead to better understanding of the business operation. This is not the benefit of rolling budget. It cultivates a question attitudes, it encourages allocation of resource that are linked of the result need. The budget is continually updated to reflect changes in the external market condition, making it more relevant. Logically, the last one is the most likely to be the potential benefit of rolling budget. Rolling budget is continuous budget. Which two of the following is statement on profit maximizing price and output are correct? Which two of the following statements on profit maximizing price and output are correct? The total cost at this output level will be the lowest as compared to all output, not necessary at all. It does not mean that where you have got the maximum profit, it does not mean that you will have a lower cost. There's no such thing. Total cost at this output level will be the lowest. No. The marginal cost and marginal revenue at this price output level will be equal. That's true. MC is equal to MR. MC is equal to MR, we know that. This is the point where you will be generating maximum profit. The marginal cost will be higher. No, no, no. If the marginal cost is higher, then how can you say profit maximizing? When marginal cost becomes higher than marginal revenue, so you are actually at loss. The marginal revenue function in use will give rise to an increased trend of total revenue of output that is below profit maximizing output level. Basically, if your marginal cost is lower than marginal revenue, then this encourages you to increase your output level, so that slowly and gradually you reach the point where from additional manufacturing of a unit, whatever the additional revenue comes, that will be equal to MC. Then obviously after that, we are not going to manufacture any units. So basically, when your marginal cost is lower than marginal revenue, it encourages you to increase your output, increase your production level. So you slowly and gradually reach to a point where simply whatever additional revenue you are generating from one unit, it will not result in any profit, because that will be the point where MR will be equal to MC. Which of the following statement about the application of life cycle costing for costing and pricing purposes is incorrect? Which of the following statement about the application of life cycle costing for costing and pricing purposes is incorrect? Quill company is a high-tech manufacturing company with a state-of-art information system in place. The management has decided to apply life cycle costing for costing and pricing purposes on its new range of products that will be launched in a few years. Which of the following about application of life cycle costing purpose is incorrect? Life cycle costing is more suitable business like Quill uses. That's true. We need to find out that's correct. We need to find out the incorrect one. Of course, where too much technology is involved, we know that you should be using life cycle costing rather than anyone else. Life cycle costing is suitable for manufacturing businesses with a high pre and post manufacturing cost. Again, it is correct. Life cycle costing can only be applied to manufacturing companies like Quill, but not others service business. That's incorrect. Why not? You can use this on service businesses as well. Life cycle costing should be applied starting from the design. That's correct. Life cycle costing, of course, we use from a day one until day last. We estimate each and everything. So logically, the answer is C. Okay. The following scenario relates to questions 16 to 20. Which of the following option is expected for alternative 1? Point B, point C. Okay, that's great. They have already made a decision tree for us. Point B. High demand, the probability is 0.7 and profit is 9 million. Low demand, probability is 0.3, but there is a loss. It means at point B, expected value will be 9 into 0.7 minus 3 into 0.3. There are 70% chances company will be generating 9 million. There are 30% chances company will have a loss of 3 million, which means what is the expected value? Let's check. Students, I'm getting expected value 5.4. Point C. High demand 0.7 into 6, low demand 0.3. Okay. 6 into 0.7, 2 into 0.3. Let's see the expected value at point C. 4.8. So expected value at point B is 5.4. Expected value at point C is 4.8. Can I say option 4? Simply, we were required to calculate expected value at point B and expected value at point C. Okay, let's see. Now, what is this? What is the optimum course of action and resulting expected value? Obviously, in your main paper, there will be number of options, but let's try. Actually, they have not given us any information here. Full expansion, how much cost we have to bear? They have not given us. Partial expansion, what is the cost? They have not given us. Currently, there are 3 alternatives. Alternative 1, full expansion of the factory. B, partial expansion. So they have just given us the outcomes. Okay. It means full expansion means at point B, we were getting how much? 5.4. So in case of full expansion, we will generate expected value of 5.4. Partial expansion will generate 4.8. And closure, in case of closure, actually we are generating 5.5. So now please listen carefully. Here we are generating 5.4. Here we are generating 4.8. Here we are generating 5.5. It means I should go for closure. Why? This is the point where I'm getting the maximum value. What is the maximum course of action and resulting expected value? So the maximum is I'll go for alternative 3, closure of the factory, and I'll be generating 5.5. Repeat, we will go for closure of the factory, alternative 3, and we will be generating expected value of 5.5 because full expansion expected value is 5.4, partial 4.8. So the maximum benefit is in case of alternative 3. Okay. The market research company proposed to AI company that can provide an exclusive version of market research report with a guaranteed forecast on the statement of demand at a premium price. Okay, they will give you perfect information simply. What is the maximum amount that AI company could be willing to pay for this exclusive version of market research? So simply, the maximum amount which we can pay, or you can say value of perfect information, value of it's a difference between expected value with perfect information minus expected value without perfect information. We have already decided 5.5. Without perfect information, we have already decided 5.5. Now let's see with perfect information which one we are going to choose. Expected value with perfect information. Okay, let's say we have got the perfect information that demand is going to be high. Now listen, if demand is going to be high, the probability is 0.7, 0.7. If we have the perfect information, demand is going to be high. If demand is going to be high, so I'll go for full expansion rather than partial. Why? If you know that in advance that demand is going to be high. In case of partial expansion, you will be generating 6 million. In case of full expansion, you will be generating 9 million. So if I have the perfect information, I will take the benefit of that. Then I'll go for full expansion, which means that 9 million into 0.3. Now let's talk about the 30% chances. Assuming we have the information, the demand is going to be low. Now listen, if demand is going to be low, in case of full expansion, I will be having a loss of 3 million. In case of partial expansion, we'll be generating 2 million. But don't forget one thing. If you have the information that demand is going to be low, so full expansion will give you a loss of 3 million, partial expansion will give you a benefit of 2 million. So if you have the information that demand is going to be low, so instead of full expansion or a partial expansion, you should go for closure. Why? Because if I go for closure, so I'll be generating more. In case of high demand, I will not go for closure, because in case of high demand, full expansion gives me 9 million, which is of course more than what closure gives me. But in case of low demand, this it's obviously I would say not a wise decision to go for full expansion or even for partial expansion. If you know that demand is low, then you should go for closure. So plus 5.5 into 30%. If we know that demand is going to be low, then I'll go for closure. So let's see expected value with perfect information, how much we will be generating. We will be actually generating 7.95. So with perfect information, obviously we generate far more than without perfect information. But how much we will be willing to pay maximum, the difference between these two. The difference between the amount which we will be generating with perfect information minus which we will be generating without perfect information. So the maximum which we can pay is 2.45 million. But again, look at the data. If you know that demand is high, of course, I'll go for full expansion because we'll be generating 0.9 million. If I know demand is low, then obviously there's no benefit for going for expansion, either full or partial. Then it is better to go for a closure in case of low demand. So logically, the answer is 2.45 million. Which of the following best describes the value of imperfect information? Basically, imperfect info. Okay, question. Let's see the question. Yeah, you can say little. Basically, in case of high demand, it was easy. But in case of low demand, it looks that we should go for partial expansion. But the question is, even partial expansion will give me just 2 million. So it's if I know the demand is low, so in case of full expansion, there's a loss. In case of partial expansion, I'll be generating, but I can generate more for closure. So if you know the demand is low, then go for closure. Actually, instead of skipping whatever comes in your mind, just do it. But at least there's no need to take the panic. Which of the following best describe the value of imperfect information? The value of imperfect information is always lower than the value of perfect due to, obviously, we have just seen. Obviously, value with perfect information will always be higher than with imperfect information. Which of the following is not a characteristic of an outcome point in a decision tree? Which of the following is not a characteristic of an now come here, just one thing. C at B, there are two outcomes. Total probability of these two outcomes is 1. If you sum both of them. There could be 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 number of outcomes are possible at each point, but the total of their probability is going to be always 1. Which of the following is not a characteristic of an outcome point in a decision tree? The occurrence of outcome at this point is beyond the control of decision makers. Outcome could be, see, you can just make a this square box is actually, square is representing the decision point. You can just make the decision. After your decision, what are going to be outcomes? They are not in your control. Exactly. So obviously demand is could be higher, could be lower. That's not in my control. So that is true. The sum of probabilities of all outcomes at each chance may not be necessarily, no, that's wrong. This is incorrect, and that is the answer as well. They're saying which of the following is not a characteristic. So actually probability will of all the outcomes will always be 1. A decision will not be made at an outcome point. They're saying a decision will not be made at an outcome point. This is also the characteristic, because we do not make decision at outcome point. We make decision at the decision point. That is also true. There could be one or more outcomes. Obviously, we know that. So logically, the answer is B. Now let's see this. What is the contribution per bottle of green wash? Okay. Simply selling price minus variable cost. A household product manufacturer is planning to set up a factory for the production of a newly launched eco-friendly detergent, green wash. It is planned to produce one package size of green wash through a semi-labor intensive production environment. The estimated sale and cost information pertaining to green wash are as below. Direct material is $7 per liter. Direct labor is 1.5 hours per liter at $10 per hour. Per liter it takes how many hours? 1.5. It means labor cost per liter is going to be 15. Labor cost per liter is going to be 15. Overhead is 14 per liter. We have been asked to calculate contribution. Okay. And there's a direct as well. Selling price 75 per bottle. Each bottle contains 2 liters of detergent. Now, this is very important. 2 liters. Examiner has given us all the information per liter. But at the end, examiner says one bottle actually takes how many liters? 2. How do we calculate contribution? Simply selling price minus variable cost. We need to calculate per bottle. Okay, no issue at all. Direct material per liter is 7. We know that. But we have to convert that into 2 liters. Why we need to convert this into 2 liters? Because one bottle needs how many liters of detergent? 2. So it means direct material cost per bottle is going to be 14. Now direct labor cost per liter is 15. But one bottle takes 2 liters. So it's going to be 30. Okay. Now let's read regarding overheads, because only we can consider variable overheads because we need to just calculate contribution. There is a static. The overhead rate is $14 per liter. Is drive based on budgeted output of a period 3000 liters. If budgeted output is 3000, then FOH rate is 14. However, it should be budgeted output 5000, then overhead rate is going to be 12. So you can see one thing. Overhead rate is not fixed, which means that it is hinting towards a semi-variable cost. In case of semi-variable cost, what do? We simply use high-low method to calculate variable cost and fixed cost. So actually 3000 into 14. 3000 into 14, I'm getting 42,000. 5,000 into 12, I'm getting 60. Okay. If I just calculate the difference, is 18,000. Here the difference is 2,000. So I can calculate variable overhead per liter. Variable overhead per liter. 18,000 divided by 2. So it's 9. But this 9 is per liter. Problem is one bottle needs 2 liter of detergent. 18. This is variable cost now per bottle. 14 plus 30 plus 18. 62. Selling price per bottle is 75. So contribution per bottle is 13. Contribution per bottle is 13. Let's see. Okay. What is a break-even? Sales for a period nearest to sales. Break-even sales. We'll take fixed cost divided by CS ratio. Just come in. CS ratio we can calculate contribution upon selling price. Zero 0.1733. This CS ratio. We can also calculate fixed cost here because we know that variable overhead they are 9 per liter. Okay. 42,000 is the total cost. Can I say 3,000 into 9? I'm getting 27,000. 42 minus 27. Fixed cost is 15. Now let's go. It was 0.1733. Fixed cost is 15,000 and this is 0.1733. This will give us break-even sales. 15,000 divided by 0.1733. Students, I'm getting 86,555. If you don't get this exact answer, go to the nearest one. Can I say this is the nearest one? Or if you increase one more 3, let's see what happens. Otherwise, I just told you, if you're not getting the exact answer, you go for the closest one. If you just increase one more 3, it becomes 86540. So obviously, C is the answer. What is the sales revenue? Sales revenue required to achieve the target profit for a period that is equal to 12% return on the estimated initial investment of 3 lakh. What is the sales revenue? Actually, we need a target sales revenue is equal to, simply I'll add the target return plus fixed cost, which we know. CS ratio, that is, we also know 0.17333. 300,000, just take 12% of that, 36, and the fixed cost is 15. So 36,000 plus 15. I'm getting 51,000. 51 divided by 0.17333. Students, I'm getting 2,94,236. Again, we have to write this in a box. 294,236. Okay. Which of the following statements regarding margin of safety for greenwash is correct? Margin of safety. Margin of safety. Actually, we take budgeted sales units, then we minus break-even units. If you recall margin of safety, we take budgeted sales units, then we deduct break-even sales units. They're asking us which of the following statement regarding margin of safety for greenwash is correct. Let's see one by one. It is the anticipated or actual production quantity for greenwash that exceed or falls shortfall of the break-even one. It is anticipated or actual sales quantity. Anticipated, budgeted, or actual sales quantity of greenwash that exceeds or falls short of break-even point. So normally it exceeds. Let's read the other one. First one is just talking about actual production. When we say margin of safety, it is actually budgeted sales units minus break-even units. It is anticipated actual production, it's not production. It is anticipated actual sales quantity of green that exceeds false quantity required to achieve. It's not target profit, it's break-even. So logically, B is the answer. Okay. Indicate by clicking the relevant boxes in the table below whether each of the following statements regarding the use of cost, volume, profit analysis is correct or incorrect. The analysis assumes that fixed costs per unit remain constant. Can I say? Actually, this analysis assumes variable cost per unit remains constant. This analysis assumes that fixed cost per unit remains constant. It's about variable cost remains constant. The analysis is not relevant for a public hospital. That makes sense. Actually, CVP analysis we utilize. CVP analysis we utilize in profit-making organizations. CVP analysis we utilize in profit-making businesses, not in public hospitals. So the one is incorrect, the second is correct. Okay. What are the budgeted overheads for model R, X, and W? Budgeted overheads. Let's see. Wheel company specializes in making a range of rubber-based products, including cars, tires. There are three different sizes of car tires. Model R, 13 inches tires, Model X, 15 inches, and 17. The production of these tires involve usage of advanced manufacturing technology with similar process and activity types. The budgeted information of wheel company for upcoming year is provided below. Production capacity to be utilized 85%. Prime cost is direct material labor. If there is any direct expense, we'll take that also. Prime cost is the major cost. Overheads. Production order is 150, but they are giving us 750 per order. Then machine setup is 3,800 per setup. So this production order, machine setup, production run is 7,000 per production run. Storage is 125 per ton day. Okay. The budgeted capacity to be utilized as shown above included the following: Activity level pertaining to the production of model RXW. The standard prime cost per unit of 3 model is this. Wheel company is currently adopting. Okay. They are actually on ABC. Fine. First of all, let's work on production order. So things are, I would say, easier here. Production order. It is 750 per order. Number of orders in R, there are 30. So 30 multiplied by 750. I'm getting 22,500. Model X 35 multiplied by 750. So 750 multiplied by 35. 26,250. Model W is 25. 750 multiplied by 25. Students, I'm getting 18,750. This is we have done with the production order. Now machine setups. Number of setups, they are 16. Number of setups. Per setup, it is 3,800. So 3,800 into 16. I'm getting 60,800. Twelve into 3,800. 12 into 3,800. I'm getting 45,600. Then 15 into 3,800. 15 into 3,800. 3,800 into 15. Students, I'm getting 57,000. Please, at least few more students, they should also be checking. Okay, now we have production run. Obviously, production runs, they will be also on the basis of number of setups. Production runs. It is 7,000 per production run. So on each setup, you have to bear this production run up cost. So 7,000 into 16. So one cost driver could be for more than one activities, which is very much possible. So 16 into 7,000 gives me 1,12,000. 12 into 7,000. 84. 15 into 7. 1,05,000. Then storage cost. 120 days. It's 125 per ton day. 125 into 120. 15,000. 150 into 125. 18,750. 190 into 125. 23,750. So 22,500 plus 60,800 plus 1,12,000 plus 15,000. Students, I'm getting 2,10,300. 26,250 plus 45,600. Okay. Okay. Second one is 45,600 plus 84,000 plus 18,750. I'm getting 1,74,600. Please keep checking it. 18750 plus 57,000 plus 105,000 plus 23750. Students, I'm getting 2045. So these are the answers. So R was, this is the answer for R. Then we've got X and W. Let's see the next question. What is the total cost per unit? Okay. Per total cost. Come here. They have given us the prime cost per unit. We can calculate overheads per unit. Our number of units are 900. We can calculate FH per unit. 1300. Then we have got 1000. This will give us FH per unit. 210,300 divided by 900. I'm getting 233.667. So 234. 174,600 divided by 1300. 134.3. So leave that. 204500 divided by 1000. I'm getting 204.5. So make it 205. Prime cost they have given us. Prime cost 95. 95, 105 and 120. So 234 plus 95. 134 plus 105, 239. 205 plus 120. So student, you can see one more thing. It's very important to highlight here because we have the data in front of us. Look at the prime cost and look at the overheads. Logically, we do use ABC costing, and ABC will give you more benefit if in your company overhead is a significant portion of your cost, significant portion of your, let's say, product cost, which you can see here. You can see that prime cost is obviously lower, but look at the FOH. So where in your business the significant proportion of your cost is overheads, then you should be using ABC so that you can get the fair allocation of overheads. So do we need to, okay, they have not given us again choices, so we have to write 329, 329, 239, and the last one is 325. Okay. Select whether each of the following justification pertaining to the application of ABC budgeting is are correct. The value of overhead is relatively significant. Yes. That gives you the justification. Go for ABC. The overheads per unit for each model of tire are all fairly. How it is possible? They are not similar. Overheads per unit of each model are not similar. Come. It is 234 per unit. It is 135. It is 20. Are they similar to each other? Not at all. If they were similar, exactly the more or less same, then what is the point of applying ABC? Wheel companies applying advanced manufacturing technology in its production that involves a range of activity types, so that it means you will be there will be number of different activities. Don't worry at all. For in case of ABC, ABC is having can give you number of cost drivers. So ABC is not short of cost drivers. Cost driver is the reason to incur the cost. So when there are number of activities, it means you will be having number of cost drivers to utilize them to get your ABC rate. So correct. Which of the following are least likely to be affected by the implementation of ABC budgeting? Which of the following are least likely? Information system in wheel company will be affected because you need to update your system. Mission statement, it has nothing to do with the mission statement. Technical competencies of finance team obviously will be affected. Pricing decision will be affected. But when it comes to mission of the wheel company, it will remain there. Don't worry at all. Which two of the following statement is not a limitation in implementing ABC? Which two of the following statement is not a limitation? Not a limitation. Let's see. It deals with significant overheads that are driven by many different cost drivers. So obviously that is not a limitation. Which two of the following statements is not a limitation? So this one is not a limitation. It is complicated and expensive to implement and it requires detailed analysis. So that's a limitation. It is a limitation. It may provide misleading information as many fixed costs do not vary with the changes in the volume of cost drivers in the short run. It is again a limitation. It may provide misleading information as many fixed costs do not vary with the changes in the volume of drivers. Makes sense? It may provide misleading information when most overheads are non-production volume overheads. Actually, this is not a limitation. Actually, this is the another reason why we go for ABC. It may provide misleading information when most overheads are non-production volume related. When your most overheads are non-production volume related, then you should be using ABC. So actually, because of the last one, we use ABC so that we can get a fair allocation of non-production overheads. So students, that is all about your pre-scene mock September 25 section A and B. In a coming live revision class, we will be discussing section C of this pre-scene mock. And other than that, any other topic, any question which you want me to discuss in the coming live revision class, that is going to be on coming Thursday, inshallah. Please, you can message in the relevant WhatsApp group. Kindly message in your relevant WhatsApp group so that I can incorporate that into the for a coming live revision class. So students, that's all about today's class. I hope you people have enjoyed. In a very short period of time, we have discussed the entire section A as well as B. So is there anything student you want to ask, you want to say before we end the class? Just a last minute of the class. Let me pause the video. And let me tell you, we are conducting these live revision session for each and every paper. Each and every means each and every. Tomorrow there is going to be a taxation. We'll be discussing pre-scene mock of tax. Already discussed the FM, FR. Thank you. So hope to see you all.